Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this month's Techinar. We are so excited to feature the agent and office websites. Now, this is our 2.0, which we're really excited about. This is the how, the why, but more importantly, the wow. And I've got two great speakers with me. We've got Derek Stevenson. How are you, Derek?
I'm great, thanks. How are you, Annette?
I'm great. Thank you so much. And we've got our Key Assad with us. What's going on, Key? Are you excited about today?
I'm very excited. Hello, Derek.
Hi there.
Yes. Okay. So we've got a great opportunity here to really showcase the tools and resources that we have for the new version of our exit websites. But I want to take a step back just for a moment and let you know that when we're creating and evolving technology and we're innovating at exit, the 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 key focus for us is that we build for the human. We are not interested in building for the headlines. We do not build for investors. We build for our exit associates. And we know that their branding is very, very important. And the core of the conversation is with our technology team. Our development team is just fantastic. These are leaders who really look into what's working for agents, and we're constantly evolving. Now, our previous websites, we got all the juice that we could out of that engine. And now we've released an amazing new engine today. And what I want to do is I want to tell you a little bit about the importance of having a website, because here's what we know. Consumers will always Google you to see that you are, in fact, who you say you are. According to Zillow statistics in 2021, 89% of people are interested in the home process and the research process, and they're starting online first. Whether it's on desktop or mobile, we all need to understand that having a web presence isn't, that would be nice to have. No, it is business critical. So what we've done here at Exit is we've created an opportunity with our new version of websites. They're just beautiful. They're very easy to set up. We've taken the simplicity and made it very clear for the agents so they can literally come into this environment. Even if they've never created a website before, they could come in with confidence and they're able to build it themselves. The websites look amazing on desktop, but I got to tell you, on mobile, they absolutely look fantastic. Now, I want to tell you a little bit of the highlights and what we've done here. They are beautiful websites, and we have a huge library of motion and other graphics. It's a templated based interface which allows agents to use from to choose from 4 different website focuses. Previously we had one, right? Now the agent can decide, well, what type of website do I want? Do I want an agent centric website? Do I want a blog centric website? Do I want IDX search? Now that's for elite members. Do I want that as my focus for my website so consumers can search? Or do I just want a sponsoring website because I already have a web solution and I'm looking to invite more people into this great company? Maybe that's what they want. And then we've taken it to the next level for our owners as well. For our offices, they can choose between either community, they have IDX, or office, and even recruiting focus. Now, what's really exciting for our franchises, okay, those that have multiple offices, they can now have separate sites, or what they've asked for, and I'm really excited to share, is that they can also combine it all in one. It's super powerful backend interface, and we're going to actually dive in just a moment and show it to you. You've got statistics, you've got setup wizards, you've got workflows, blog platform, SEO, you've got customization, you've got graphics, you've got website tracking, you've got meta tags, quite a bit of information. And aren't you glad that you're here with us and we've got experts that will walk you through? As you're going to discover, these are turnkey solutions. And for those of you who want more, you have the ability to come into the dashboard and it's going to walk you through having more advanced features of the website. Now, I would love to go ahead and get acquainted. Now, I know, Susan, you're in the background here. I would love for you to give Derek go ahead and give him the controls so that we can see his website. And as we transition, Derek, this is exciting because I would love for you to help the associates get acclimated into the new website, right? But before we get started, I want to ask you, Derek, what do you feel are the agent's challenges when they have, when they're thinking about creating their own website, what's some of the challenges that you see them experiencing or questions that they have about their website in getting started?
Thanks, Annette. Probably the most common one is related to SEO, and I know Key's going to be chatting with us about that a little bit later on. But then also just not knowing really where to start. As you mentioned, the new dashboard or the revised dashboard really walks the associates through what we would like to refer to as a wizard, and it just allows them to take one step at a time until the site is officially up and running. And no pressure if they want to set it and forget it, or if they want to constantly come in and update it on a regular basis. It's totally up to the user.
That's perfect. And Key, let me ask you, with search engine optimization, do you feel that the majority of agents out there understand what it's about and how they can leverage it?
No, I think a lot of vendors have manipulated the misuse of the SEO to confuse agents. So for me, SEO is very simple. Tell a story and make it very clear and don't be vague about it. But I do understand why a lot of people and brokers and agents get confused by it because of the lingo of meta tags and HTML. You think you have to become a programmer to do it, and you do not.
Yes, that's so good. So that's why we've got both of you here today. So Derek, go ahead and take us through, get us acclimated, and there's going to be a point in time where we're going to dip into SEO, and that's when we're going to tap Key on the shoulder, and Key's going to give us some input on what our associates can do there. So take it away.
Absolutely. So I'm going to start off with a franchise website or a franchisee's website, and you'll see that you have the option as a franchisee to request a domain name right from the beginning for you yourself if you're also licensed, or the franchise. So up in the top right, we're just going to come down to the drop-down menu and choose websites. And our new wonderful dashboard is automatically going to load for us. I do have to give a little bit of a round of applause to our development team and the graphics team. They've done a great job with these new sites. When you first sign into the site here, a couple things to take note. In the top left, you'll have your information. You can always preview the site. You have a quick little overview, which we'll get to in just a second. But one of the important things to note is here in our top drop-down menu. You'll see that it automatically defaults to the franchise, and I'm currently signed in as Kevin Kilpatrick, and Kevin is also a licensed associate. So we as associates just have to be mindful as to which website we're looking to work with or which domain name we're looking to request off the bat. So we're going to start off, as I mentioned, with the office site. So we'll just choose UT560 as his franchise code. And you have a couple different options. We have categories across the top here that we can click into, a couple here in the middle, and then we also have our famous checklist going down the right-hand side here. So the checklist is definitely more detailed this time around. There was maybe a handful of options with the last dashboard, so it's a lot more intuitive this time around, and it lets you know kind of where you're at. So the red X's means that's the task that we still need to complete, and then it also gives us how far along we are. Once we go from 0 to 100, we know our dashboard is complete and our website is ready to roll. So first up, as I mentioned, you have your active or set inactive, depending on whether or not you want to activate the website once your domain name has been approved. And then you can also check leads in the resource center, manage domain names, and so on. Now, the very first step, if I'm a brand new franchisee and I'm signing in, I want to take a look at what our site is going to look like, just as an example. I want to be able to verify that, yes, this site is going to work for my brokerage. And before I even purchase a domain name, I want to be able to take a sneak peek to see what I'm going to be getting. So franchisees can always click onto preview site, and it's automatically going to load for them. Now, this is a default. Keep in mind, we do have the ability to change some graphics in the background up at the top. And depending on the template that you've selected, as Annette mentioned, whether it's blog related, if it's going to be recruiting based, those images would change across the top as well. You'll still have a list of your associates, whether you wanted to scroll through them, or you can simply select show more. And one of the neat things that we've done this time around is separated the management roles or franchisee roles from the sales associate roles. So we'll start off with our franchisees up at the top, and then we just have a list of our associates or the team members down below. All right, so that's an example of what it would look like. Alrighty, we do have our overview of website requests. So keep in mind that Exit International is not providing domain names. We're simply providing the website. So it's up to franchisees or sales associates to still request a domain name. And then once that domain name has been approved, we're able to point it to the Exit website. So it just gives us a quick little overview of 6 different steps that we need to take. First, we want to make sure that we have a domain name that is available. What we recommend doing is signing into, say, GoDaddy, for example, and typing in a domain name that you're thinking of using to see if it's available. If it's indeed available, don't request or don't purchase it at that time. You want to go through an approval process through corporate. So once we know it's available, we're going to come into the resource center and into the websites here, and we're going to manage our domain. We're going to go ahead and enter in a domain name that we want to use. Let's say Exit Success Realty Utah, and we'll put the word test in there just to be on the safe side, and we'll request it. So now that request is going to be pending. You can see it's changing colors for us. We're almost there. And the request is going to be submitted to our corporate records team. And because I'm requesting a domain name for the office, it's also going to send off a request to our regional office. The request is going to take 3 days, 3 business days. And after that, if no one has any issues with that domain name, the domain name is automatically going to be approved. And we'll take a look to see what that looks like in just a couple minutes. While we're waiting for the domain name to be approved or accepted, we are able to go ahead and start taking a look at our checklist. So you'll see here that it has to activate your website. You obviously want to hold off on that until your domain name has been approved. And then step 2 was to request a domain name, which we just did. We do have the IDX integration. And as a reminder, that is only available for those associates who have purchased the Elite membership. And just as a quick tip for any franchisees out there, if you do purchase the Elite membership, you're able to get that IDX feed on your agent site as well as the office site.
So good.
One thing I will point out as well, as we are going through the checklist here, as I hold my cursor over the subject or the title, you'll see a little bubble pops up and it lets us know exactly what we're going to be working on. So you don't always have to open the item on the right-hand side. Once your domain name has been approved by either the franchisee, if you're a sales associate, or by the regional office, if you're a franchise, at that time, you're able to go in and point your domain name to the Exit website. And sorry, let me back up a second. Then you're able to go ahead and purchase it. Again, you've already made sure that it is available through GoDaddy. And again, if you're going to request it, it's going to be approved, and then you're going to go ahead and purchase it through GoDaddy. And the reason why we're doing it that way is because we don't want you to purchase a domain name if it's not going to be approved on Exit side in the end. Now, majority of the time, the domain names are going to be approved. The only thing we really want to make sure is that the associate or a franchise is not trying to look larger than they really are. And what I mean by that is if, for example, we're using Kevin, who's located in Utah, and if he just wanted to say use Exit Utah as his domain name, it almost comes across that he's the only exit brokerage in Utah, and we know that's not the case. So we want to make sure that he's not trying to encompass a larger area than his particular area or his grid that his office is located in. So that's something to keep in mind as well when requesting a domain name.
Hey, you know what, Derek? Let me actually tap in Key a little earlier, right?
Sure.
Domain names are super important. And because we're talking about it right now, Key, what are some of your suggestions? Because agents might be saying, well, I'm stuck already. I don't even know what the domain should be. So give us some insight.
Well, I tell them to think of them musically, pa.com. So I usually tell agents, if you're going to use a domain, you want to be able to remember it yourself. So if you could say SusanSmithRealtor.com, you got it.
Yeah.
But by the way, I know you know this, Derek. If you're a realtor, you can purchase this special domain called SusanSmith.Realtor, and that's available to you as well. So just think of it musically and think of it like something you can remember, just like your name, and don't complicate it. Domain names do not affect SEO. Please stop buying domain names that are 10 words long.com and thinking that, ooh, Google will give me SEO juice. Just think of it, pop.com or pop.realtor, that could help you.
Perfect. Great tip. Okay, Derek, keep going.
Perfect.
Love it.
So as we carry on with our checklist, we do have the site background. And again, some of these options or items are going to be very familiar with our last dashboard. So if we simply click the open option, it's going to load a number of our backgrounds. Now we've combined our photo images with our videos. In the past, it was 2 separate pages, but it will always play a little display for you as well. If we click onto it, it'll ask you if you want to choose it, select it as your background. You can say yes or no. And then same goes for the images up top. One thing we do recommend and keep in mind that try to choose a background that is going to fit your area. If you're living in Miami, for example, or a downtown atmosphere, maybe you want to choose something that goes along with that environment that you're currently located in or the environment that you farm. For example, I wouldn't necessarily want to choose this photo with the fall leaves if I'm, say, living in California or something along those lines.
It's another good.
One of the things I will mention with the dashboard, because it's very user-friendly, you don't always have to click back into your home dashboard. Now that we're here, we can carry on with our options on the left-hand side, which tie in with some of the other options in our checklist. So first up, you see that we had our layout, and then we also have our background that we're currently on. If I click down to number 3 or next, definitely up to the user, it's going to give us a couple different options here. And one of the website options here, we do have blog, as Annette mentioned there, is a blog option, and you can enter in information. You can see that we just have some test data recorded for right now, and it does give you the title, your description, and then also the button information. So I know he's going to talk a little bit more about this later on, so I'm just going to continue on before we pass it over to him. And we do have a new option here, which is hours of operations. This was a request by a number of franchisees. So you can choose the hours of operations, Monday to Friday, whether it's 9 to 5, maybe you're not open on the weekends, and you can remove those hours and simply click on to update. Alrighty, pretty straightforward there for our hours. Our content visibility. Now, sometimes it might be a great idea to actually view the site before you decide what items you want to hide and what you want to display. So you can see it's pretty straightforward to turn something on or off. We're simply just clicking the little bullet on the far right-hand side to turn it on, and then click it again to shut it off. But you can see that here you have your contact information in your header bar, you have your join exit, so our 4-minute million, you do have that IDX search option if you happen to be an elite member, any news information, local content, your contact me, and so on. Alrighty.
You know, what's interesting about that is what the team does is when you hover over, it's going to give you an explanation of what it is. So even if you're not sure, just hover over and you'll see a detailed description. Love it.
Absolutely, just like the checklist on the main page there.
Yeah, love it.
Then we have our website trackers. So we know that not everyone is going to utilize this. There are some people out there who are very techy and would love to be able to add in their Google Analytics. And then also we have our Facebook pixel information and also your custom code tracking. Now, again, this is not necessary for everyone. You don't have to have this set up. A big question always is, do we need to do this in order to promote our website better or things along those lines? And so it's not for everyone. We realize that not every real estate agent is super techy. So again, it's an option. Don't feel obligated to use this for the office or remind your associates that they need to use it as well.
Great.
We do have our search engine optimization, and I know Key's going to chat about it a little bit as well, and also our SEO. But before we get to that, they do go hand in hand, if you will. Before we get to that, I am just going to click back into our home screen just for a minute. And the reason why I want to click here is because we do have custom pages still. So I know that the custom pages is not necessarily in our checklist, but with our custom pages, it allows associates to create pages, and again, for franchisees, because we're focusing on that franchise website right now, you could create a custom page for recruiting purposes. Maybe you want to create a custom page for a local event that's happening. Maybe you're having a charity event, or if you're brand new, you happen to be having a grand opening, you can definitely go ahead and create a custom page highlighting that information. You have options for all your pages once they've been set up, news or community. And again, it's pretty straightforward. You just click the little plus sign in the bottom right-hand corner. It's going to ask us if we want to use news or community. We'll say news. And it's like a fill in the blank type of program. We're trying to take some of the work out of it for everyone. So you simply just enter in your title, some of your keywords and descriptions, which I know Key's going to chat to us about. But one of the best things that I like about this new platform is that we have the option to upload images ourselves, as always, but we also have this new button for get images. Our graphics team has gone through a large task here to get a number of our photos that have been approved by Exit up and available for associates and franchisees. And you can see that we have a number of different categories. So it's not just the ones that are appearing on the very first page here. Associates have the option to click into a number of different headers across the top, and there's all kinds of photos available for everyone to be able to use. You don't have to worry about going through the approval process or anything along those lines. So that's one of the best things I feel is part of our new websites as well.
Yes, and you know, Derek, it's Pexels. It's that integration of Pexels. Now, I use Pexels for a lot of my actually all of my presentations. When I'm looking for an image, I'm looking for a royalty-free, right, image that I could use that's approved for me to be able to reuse them. We've integrated that here. So if you're talking about an event at a park, you can find parks and put that image in here. Such great work. Love what the team has done.
Absolutely. Down below in your paragraph here, or the body of your custom page, you still have the option to bold font, change your font up a little bit, center images. You can hyperlink things as always, and then you have the little eye icon here for a quick little preview before you go ahead and publish the page. Now, if you happen to, say, have an event like your open house, and you have a photo that you want to, or sorry, not your open house, your grand opening, and you have a photo that you want to include, but it's not quite ready, you can always save it as a draft and come back and publish this site at a later date. If you want to go ahead and publish it, you simply select publish from the dropdown and then save your page in the bottom right-hand corner. All right, I'm going to click up to home, and I'm going to go ahead and pull up our SEO section here, and I'm going to pass it over to Key. All right, perfect. So I'm back onto our little checklist here on the left-hand side. Our 7 and 8 options kind of go hand in hand. So again, Key, I'll go ahead and I'll pass it over to you if you want to talk a little bit about our SEO for our associates.
Yes.
Well, for me, SEO is very simple, guys. Don't complicate life. So, Derek, imagine you want to put something of value to your client in West Jordan, Utah. Okay. And you're putting together a market report. You'd be tempted to call your page Market Report. It's nice, but it's not so, it's lacking the keywords. It's lacking what the spiders of Google and search engines look for to extract. Okay, you'll go, wait a second, Key. I'm going to call it Real Estate Market Report. Ah, you're doing better now because you're talking about real estate and it's a market report, but you're missing an ingredient. And that ingredient, I know you know, is location. Real Estate Market Report in West Jordan, Utah. So if I was Kevin Kilpatrick, who I love, by the way, and I was putting together a page where I want to educate my clients about what's happening in the market, what happened in the last 6 months, what are the sales, the expireds, what is the median home price, days on market, and I want to put that together, I want not only the consumer to get value, I want the spiders, which are what the programs that Google uses, to realize, aha, Kevin Kilpatrick is talking about a market report about real estate in West Jordan, Utah. And for me, that's the most profound idea I want our agents to understand. Make it as simple as possible. A title should be about 10 to 12 words long, and the first paragraph in your page is called your meta description, sometimes called description. For those of you who love to look at HTML, there's a thing called title tag and meta description. Those things matter to the spiders, especially when the page matches the value you're giving. So I'll give you another example, Derek. Let's say I'm doing a career night. And I want to create a page called Career Night. Can I call it Career Night? Of course I can. But Google goes, yawn, who cares? Career Night in Chicago, Illinois. Okay, now this is getting better. Have you considered a career in real estate in Chicago? Now we're getting even more. We're getting to that place where Google goes, I know what you're trying to do. You are probably Trudy Holmes. You're a broker in Chicago. You have an office called Exit True Design Realty, and you want to attract talent to your office. And you're talking about a real estate career night in Chicago, Illinois. And this simple idea, Derek, by being descriptive in your title, will give you the keywords you want.
So good. So it's not about the agent, right? It's about what their consumer is going to be typing. And great tips there, Keith. Thank
And
you.
it's also about the page you're putting together. So if I am Derek and I'm in Chicago and I said real estate career night with Derek, I don't need to mention Derek. I do not need to mention Exit. But hold on. What if Derek is a new talent to my company and I want to welcome him? Well, I'm going to create a page that says, welcome Derek Stevenson to Exit Realty in Chicago, Illinois, because the page is about him. So I always tell agents when you're writing, when you're putting together a page, ask yourself, what are you trying to do? I'm trying to educate my clients about a market report. Where? In Chicago. Okay, market report in Chicago, Illinois, or better yet, real estate market report. But if I am actually welcoming Annette Anthony to Exit Realty Success, I'm not going to be obtuse about it. I'm going to say, welcome to your real estate career with Exit Realty Success in West Jordan, Utah. Because then I'm infusing your name and then I'm going to make you Googleable.
Love
I
it.
remember one of the times when we chatted in the past anyways, he had always mentioned to try to focus on the who, the what, and the where when trying to create some meta tags and keywords.
Absolutely. Tell me what you do, tell me where you do it, and tell me with whom you do it. If you can remember that, your meta tags will always be, and of course, take search engine. People go, why do I have to tell them? They should know. Search engines are not people. They are spiders. The more you make it easy for them to know what the page is about, the more value you make your search people to find you. So if I'm in West Jordan, Utah, and I'm Kevin Kilpatrick, guess what? I'm going to mention West Jordan, Utah, because I want people in that area or people interested in that area to talk to me.
Great point.
Absolutely. Perfect. Thank you very much, Key. I am going to click up into our home screen, and before we switch over to the associate site, the one thing I do want to mention, as Annette had chatted about there, is that offices have the ability to have individual websites, or they can definitely merge them together. You can see here that Kevin happens to have 3 locations, and we can combine them all together and indicate which one is our primary brokerage, or we can leave them individual and have individual websites. Now, you may be wondering what the primary office is all about. So the primary office, because we're not necessarily dealing with an associate right now who has multiple roles in different offices, we're dealing with a franchisee who has multiple offices. And this is the primary office is the office that's going to receive leads from the public website or their agent website, the office website as well. So for example, we have UT560 set up as our primary site. Any leads that are coming in from these 2 locations are still going to feed through to the main office. So that's what that primary office is all about. Okay, Annette, do you have anything you want to highlight before we switch on over to our agent websites?
I love it. I think you covered it.
All right, perfect. I'm going to switch over here. I'm going to quickly sign in as Sharon. And we're just going to go ahead and take a look at an agent website. Now, this website that we're going to take a look at is actually completed. So you're going to see the difference of having a checklist that's not completed or hasn't been started, and then one that's already up and running. So again, we're going to choose websites from the dropdown. And this is going to be, again, for our associates. So we'll see here that in the drop-down menu, it's only going to have Sharon's one role. Sharon is a sales associate, no longer a franchisee, so it's just going to have the one role. You'll see here that her profile is 100% complete, but we can still go through the tabs to going across the top of our page here. Again, if we want to activate or set the site to inactive, it's already active, but we could always turn it off if we ever needed to. We can always check our leads that are coming in through the resource center. And this is just some fictional information, but the leads will be stored within the resource center. We can always manage the domain name. And one of the great things now is that the site is, or with the new dashboard anyways, now that this site is live, I can manage this domain name and I can remove it. If Sharon decides to change her mind and she no longer wants SharonExit.com, she can actually remove it on her own. In the past, associates used to have to reach out to us and have it removed. So now as a sales associate, if I want to change it, I can simply remove it and then submit a new domain name. The last two here, the second last couple here, we have our really our security for SSL certificate, and then also we want to make sure that the site is configured correctly. So if you click on the check option there, it's going to let us know that it has been properly set up and pointed. So we do have a DNSA record that you do have to point from GoDaddy to the exit website. We do provide instructions when the domain name has been approved through email. So associates do have to sign into GoDaddy and point that. But if you ever run into trouble, by all means, feel free to reach out to franchise support. And we're also putting together a little video on how to point a domain name, and that'll be saved as a resource within our media library as well. Our security check here is our SSL. So our certificate, and we want to make sure that the site is secure. When we have clients going to our website, we want to make sure that it's showing as secure. They're not getting a message saying that some information could be leaked and things along those lines. So we want to make sure that that SSL is set up. But the best news is that we don't have to worry about managing anything on our side. Associates, as soon as you guys sign in, it'll automatically set up the SSL as long as the site is configured correctly, and you don't have to do anything in regards to that. If it's not set up, I'm going to say within 48 hours, 24 to 48 hours, definitely let us know so that we can take a peek at your domain name to make sure that it is configured correctly. Then we also happen to have our IDX feed. So as we mentioned earlier today, associates or franchisees that happen to have that elite membership have the ability to add that IDX feed onto their website. So they do have to request their own IDX feed. Each website does need to have the request submitted, and then we have our IDX team here that will make sure that they get the documents, the paperwork in place, because essentially it's going to be an agreement between you, corporate, and the MLS to make sure that we can get that property search on the website. Keep in mind, if you don't have an elite membership, your own listings will still appear on your website. It's the IDX feed essentially allows all listings within the MLS to appear on the website. So again, you're not going to have no listings. You will still have your listings, and if you're a brand new agent and you don't have any listings, it will automatically default to the office's listings. So again, when clients visit your page, it doesn't seem as though there's no listings there at all.
So good. And we've been mentioning quite a bit about the elite membership. So for those that are watching, of course, and those watching later, you can always text ELITE to 85377 and you'll be directed to more information about the elite membership. It doesn't just include IDX. All right, there's elevated technology, a lot of it that you want to check out. So take a closer look. Go ahead, Derek.
Perfect. So down here on our checklist, you can see that Sharon has already completed all the options and our profile is at 100%. Now that doesn't mean that I can't pop in here and always edit the information.
Let's do it.
For example, my photo and my bio. This information is actually uploaded or pulled from the photo, or the profile, I should say, from within the resource center. So as an associate, if I sign into the resource center, I can simply go into my profile here and change my photo. I don't have to do it separately for the website. The systems are set up in place so that when you change something in one place, for example, your photo in the resource center, it'll trickle through to all the different tools. So your agent website, your mobile business card, your Exit Realty Connect app, it'll automatically update all that for us. So we don't have to worry about doing it multiple times. Alrighty. Now, one of the other things I wanted to mention we have is our website settings. And this is something that we've been chatting about for a while now, as far as having different focused websites. So here you see that we have our agent focused website, our blog focused, and then also listing IDX focused for anyone who's set up with an elite membership. Now, this is the same it's the same across the board for offices and agents. You simply click into the website settings and you can pick and choose which option you'd like. At a quick glance, you may not realize which one you have selected, but just keep an eye on the option that says select or selected. And obviously selected is the one that is currently live, and you can simply switch it up if you ever needed to.
Yeah, and Derek, take a look at scroll down to the very bottom. There's one more for them to see, and that's the agent sponsoring one.
Yeah, there's the different ones set up there. And at a quick glance, you may think these options are clickable, but it's just really letting you know what's going to be featured on the website. So you can simply select them and then come back up to the top and review them by clicking into home and again, previewing the site quickly.
So good.
So here's an example of Sharon's site. You can see that she's selected a video for her background. We have her set up as an elite member, so she has the ability to search for property. And keep in mind, we can also hide or expand the filters available as well. Now, one of the big things that we have noticed, and you may notice as well, is that we're trying to keep the feel the same as our public website, exitrealty.com. And I believe that the development team and the graphics team has definitely achieved that, to the point where someone's actually reached out wondering if they were on their site or the public website. So we've definitely kept that in mind because we want to make sure that branding and everything across the board is very similar. And I personally believe that the sites look phenomenal. Nothing against our last version, but I believe that the upgrade is definitely very well rounded, and they're beautiful sites, and the layout is beautiful, very easy and user-friendly to use. And you'll see that all the information, as I mentioned before, from the profile is also connected to Sharon's website. So she has her social media information. We didn't have to set that up anywhere special on the websites. It's automatically already in her profile, so we're pulling it into the website for her. And then at the bottom here, we do have a little contact me information or fields, and also the ability to download our Exit Realty Connect app.
So good. And you know what? Our technology is not going to stop there. Like in the future, there'll be continued innovations now that we've got this amazing platform that these websites are on. So look forward to more in the future.
Absolutely. So that is really the agent and the office websites. I will pass it back over to Annette.
Thank you. Okay, Susan, go ahead and send me back the controls so that I can show my screen. Fantastic. That was great. That was a really good overview. I think by now you should be able to, can you guys see my, yeah, you guys can see my screen. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I just want just a couple tips. If you could give like one or two or just a few tips, what would that be? Since Derek just got done speaking, Key, what couple tips would you give your audience that's listening today to this?
Well, if you're going to be putting together a website, make sure you have a good bio, and that your bio has pictures that are updated, maybe videos, maybe you have a link on YouTube that you want to share that you're proud of. So start with you, but start with you not in egocentric way. Start with you in a service mode, like you're trying to help people navigate the market you're in. Don't be a secret agent. Tell them where you do business. If you're in West Jordan, Utah, tell them that, and tell them the communities you work in. So start with that. Second, make sure that most of you want to start a website, but you never bother to go to the bio section of Exit Realty and attach your Facebook link, your Twitter link. Some of you are so anxious for the next thing, you forget the fundamentals. So do that. And always come from value. Always come from value. Offer value, not sales. If you can help somebody understand what's happening in local market, they will think of you as a real estate advisor, and they will have more of a tendency to want to work with you rather than think of you as a sales person.
So good. And then I want you to repeat the questions that you did before, right? Those core questions that you need to ask yourself as you're putting together your title or your domain name. What were those few questions?
There's 3 of them, and Derek said them for me, but I'll say them again.
Need
Tell
'em.
me what you do, tell me where you do it, and tell me with whom you do it. Those are the
Perfect.
three things you should always remember in any articles where you're sharing value to other people. Don't be obtuse. Don't say, I'm a real estate agent. I'm a real
Mhm.
estate agent with Exit Realty Success in West Jordan, Utah. I
Yeah,
love my job. I love what I do. Don't be obtuse. Be clear.
I love it. That's great advice. How about you, Derek? What are a couple things that you feel, you know what, it's I want the agents to take action. I want them to get into the website. What do you suggest that they do? A couple things.
I say start today. Don't wait, don't delay, don't put it on hold. Definitely start today. You want to make sure that you have an online presence. I know we have the photos and the bios in the resource center, but you can even expand that, having your own website or a second website if you already happen to have a site. So definitely start today. Go into GoDaddy, for example, and find a domain name that works for you. Make sure that there is something that is going to work for you. Remember what Keith said, you don't want it to be 10 words long, so something that's going to work for you. And
Bop, bop, bop.
yes, always remember to sing it to yourself, and reach out to franchise support if you have any questions. This video will be available in the resource center and in our media library. I mentioned that we're going to have other videos as far as how to point domain names, because that's a biggie that some people get stuck with. So that video will be there as well. And again, reach out to franchise support if you have any questions. We can definitely give you a hand getting the site set up.
I love it. Thanks, Derek. That's great advice to share for sure. So, I just want to follow up with just a few things for support that I want each of you to remember is that if you have questions, you can text support to 85377. And when you do, you're going to receive our franchise support's mobile business card with all the necessary ways to connect with them, whether it's by text, email, or you can call. I also want you to visit our tutorials in the Exit Resource Center. You can actually, find great resources there. I want you to also connect with Key Assad on Facebook. You'll see his handle is at Real Estate Web Trainer. He has a lot of great knowledge that he shares on social media, so definitely get connected. And then also in the follow-up email that we're going to send all of you is you're going to receive a link to what's called the Make Your Meta Better. Now, that was a great recording that Key and I did together, and we really dove deeper. And we've got actual examples that I think would be very beneficial for each of you to watch in addition so that you've got a little bit more, support to help you. I just want to say thank you. This webinar, or this techinar, I should say, is a very special one that we do every single month. It's on the fourth Wednesday of every month. It's open to the public, and this is where we talk about something important with respect to technology and moving your business forward. I'm proud of our team and the fact that we're constantly creating technology that everything connects together. It generates conversation. It also generates leads. And at Exit, we never charge for leads. Gentlemen, I thank you so much for joining us today in this great conversation about our wonderful new websites. And I'm really looking forward to seeing them in the near future. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Thanks for having us, Annette.
You got it. Have a great day. Thanks, everyone.
Take care. Bye, everyone.